I'm going with they don't. Marvin Glock. What is he, a nerdy gangster? Nazi Germany, 1939.
Rules in action.
Cops as scarecrows.
Rules that keep things going smoothly and fairly.
The sound of that whistle really does not match those jack boots.
Rules that help us get where we're going. Help us work together and play together and live together.
And sleep together.
Of course, in small groups, we sometimes get along without rules.
The John Birch Society Pee Wee All-Stars. Not bad for white kids.
When many of us play together, rules make the game.
Okay, now I'll throw I guess game's over. And why are they playing baseball with a bocce ball?
Rules help us play fair with each other, so all can enjoy the game.
Even this spaz.
Rules that apply equally to all.
Not even close, kid.
It's up to each one of us to know the rules and follow them.
Soviet bombers, quick to the fallout shelter!
And we can each take part in making the rules more fair and more useful.
And more striped.
Inside our school, we also have rules for fair play and for getting along together. In our library, for example,
we have a bouncer.
Here, many of us use the same books and reference materials.
Trust Dewey Decimal for a stronger America.
To help make the library a good place to study and read.
And check your Facebook.
And to help all of us use the books more fairly. Of course, at times, some of us have trouble with the rules.
Like this idiot.
You have a book out, overdue, and it's already been renewed once. I can't let you take out another until you bring that book back.
Yeah, I bet this girl's a lot of fun to hang around with.
Look, I need that book, and this one too, for an assignment. Now just let me take it out and
stop being such a ball buster.
No, I can't. It's the rule.
Yes, it's the rule. But John needed the book. And he wanted Betty to make an exception to the rule.
I'm a little frightened of that girl.
Of course, she could not make an exception. But she suggested that John take his problem to the principal.
She's like a young Sylvia Plath.
All right, I will.
Jerk.
So John came to see me.
But I was drunk.
To ask me to make an exception in his case. What should we tell people who want exceptions to the rules? How can we show them that exceptions are unfair? That they spoil the game? That's it.
Waterboarding.
They spoil the game.
Oh.
When you strike out in baseball, would it be fair to ask for an exception for another strike?
Yeah, I think having Johnny on your team spoils the game.
When you're in a hurry to get somewhere, you still wait at red lights. You know that exceptions would not be fair.
But they'd sure be fun.
Just imagine having an exceptioner in the library to decide that one person doesn't have to bring books back, but another one does. Would this be fair?
Imagine having an LSD trip in your library.
Would it be fair to make exceptions and excuse some people from paying fines while making other people pay?
It's like Satan's librarian.
Well, John finally agreed that rules must apply to everyone, that exceptions are unfair.
And Venetian blinds are awesome.
The rules are pretty important after all. The rules are so important that we go to a lot of trouble to remind everyone of the rules.
So George Washington was president in the 50s.
We post bulletins that remind us of the rules about fire drills, where to go and what to do.
And who to grope.
About school activities.
Clearly the photography club did not win the poster contest.
About safety on the streets near our school.
Watch cars this fall, CBS.
Rules for living together.
Rules for making rules.
We have hall guards to remind us of our traffic rules in the halls.
We have goons to break the arms of the younger children.
Our teachers are always glad to answer questions about the rules.
Teacher, what is Kama
Yes, most of the
mean?
time we remember and respect the rules. But sometimes, some of us have problems because of not knowing the rules, or forgetting them.
Or not giving a fuck.
Come in, Alvin.
We're your chipmunks.
Mr. Blackwell sent me from gym class. Well, I didn't know we were supposed to bring
You know, it's the 1950s when the middle school principal has a humidor on his desk.
Until today.
Didn't Mr. Blackwell tell the class to bring gym shoes?
Well, I must have been absent that day.
Absent or
stuffed in a locker?
Not listening very carefully. Alvin, whose job is it to see that you know the rules?
I think it's yours, sir.
Sit down.
Shut up.
What could I say? How could I show Alvin his responsibility? How do you convince people that they must learn the rules?
Waterboarding.
Suppose you are watching a game of work-up baseball.
Who gets worked up about
baseball? Say
baseball?
You've never played it, but you'd like to try. How would you go about learning the rules these fellows use?
First, stand inside a tornado.
You'd watch for a while, wouldn't you? If someone caught a fly and traded places with the batter, well, then you'd have some idea of one of the rules.
That spiders bat next?
And you could look to see where the bases were. They might be just like regular baseball, or perhaps not.
They might be where they spoil the game.
Then if you were given a chance to play, you'd ask some questions.
Like, why is this kid so
Questions
itchy?
about the rules. And then you'd play. And you'd have fun by playing by the rules.
Well, just beat me up now.
Now suppose you're in school on your way to a new class. Whenever you come into a new situation, you watch for rules. So, as you enter shop class for the first time, you look around. You see workbenches.
And dumb kids.
Quite a few of them. You'll probably be assigned to one, and it'll be up to you to keep it neat and take care of the tools there.
And believe me, there are a lot of tools in this class.
One bandsaw.
Coming up.
And a rule.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the first rule is don't put your hand near the blade,
rules
genius.
are necessary. Well, how do you get permission?
Bribes.
You ask and find out. That's another way to learn the rules. Look around you. Read. Watch. Ask questions.
Ask this evil butcher.
You can learn the rules if you try.
Jeez, this is a lot of work. Can't you just tell me the rules?
Alvin seemed to understand that it was his responsibility to learn the rules. And he promised to bring his gym shoes the next day.
And he promised to fill this prescription for Ritalin I gave him.
You know, it's worth remembering. When we don't know the rules, or if we forget them, it's just as unfair to others as if we broke the rules on purpose. Now, Ernie, he's one of our hall guards. He'd been waiting to see me because he had another question about rules.
And his man boobs.
Well, we're having trouble on the west stairway.
The Gottis are trying to muscle in.
Up only. But at certain times of the day, there's hardly anyone around the halls, and it's handy for some to come down the west stairs.
Apparently it's also handy for looking up girls'
telling them
skirts.
not to. But I'm supposed to enforce the rules.
Nazi.
Well, Mr. Taylor, the hall guards just don't know what to do.
I'm afraid there might be a coup.
Well, perhaps that stairway isn't as congested as it was when our traffic rules were set up. Maybe they need changing.
Would you change the rule, Mr. Taylor? That might help.
Well, that's not my rule to change, Ernie.
You see, Ernie, I'm a puppet of the school
Don't you
board.
remember, the student committee planned the hall traffic program.
Damn pinko commies.
You might like to study the problem, talk it over with the other hall guards, and then make suggestions to the student committee.
That's a good idea. We'll do that. Thank you.
Not at all.
Oh, you might want to pick up
another
a training bra,
important thing
too,
to remember
son.
about rules. They're set up to meet a need. And we can each take part in changing them if changes are needed.
Come on, 3 o'clock.
How are rules made? Our school board here in town makes some rules.
Here's a list of books we'd like
After all, the
burned
parents
today.
hold them responsible for making this a good school. Our state government makes some overall rules for schools to give each one of us a fair chance to learn.
This person reads really quickly.
And we, through our own student representatives, make some of the rules too.
Deutschland,
They help us find ways of
Deutschland,
making our life in
über
school
alles.
smoother and more pleasant and fair for all.
And whiter.
Our rules apply equally to all, with no exceptions.
Except rich white men.
That is part of making them fair. Each one of us has the responsibility of learning the
I think
rules
this kid had his
and
sneakers on
remembering
the
to
wrong
follow
feet.
them. And we can work together to make better rules when we need them.
And to waste all the
And to
masking
use our
tape.
rules to help make living at school more happy and worthwhile for all.
Jeez, this kid didn't solve Middle East peace, he just taped up a stupid sign. It's kind of an uncomfortably long touch there, buddy. And remember, kids, every time you follow a rule, God kills a communist.